And here we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to DIIG Live, October. We're back after a 2-month break. Thank you very much for joining us today. Loads and loads of you in as well. Let's go and say a few hellos while we have the opportunity. Chat isn't working in the left-hand side, on the left-hand side of the bottom. But I will say hey to Dave Oliver, to Teresa K. Thank you for stopping by, Teresa. We've got Aggie Hall from Ohio, Alec James, Jesse and Garrett. Hi. Jim's here as well. Bobby's here from Rodney Cook. Oh, very windy and rainy. I'm wearing my Rodney Cook t-shirt. It's pretty warm here as well. Trust you guys can see me okay and hear me all right. We've got Michael Crone as well. Jane Caldwell, Emmy Wells here. Hi. Nyla Fix, Wiz, thank you very much for stopping by. Stefan Wild is here as well. Hi, Stefan. Nice to see you. What a pleasure. Henry's here. Steve Ray's here. God, it goes on and on and on. We'll do some more shout outs later on. So again, thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. Wow, here we are again. Let's pop some music in the background. And, well, what we've been up to, hey? We've had rally season. So we've been out digging plenty of holes and hopefully finding a lot of stuff. We were lucky enough, in fact, let's make me a bit smaller. We were lucky enough to get a big group of us together at Detectival. And there we all are as well, with Recton in the middle as well. A few of the DIIG members, the DIIG troop there too. So that's great. Plenty of red hats given out. So we'll have to get a few more of them. But it was a great time too. How's everyone been doing this rally season? Has anyone found anything particularly exciting? Because the group's got loads of cool stuff I could see. Let's go check out a little bit of it as well. Okay, so what do we do? In fact, I know just the thing. Let's put on a little bit of an intro. So let's do a recap. For the last 2 months, we've had loads and loads of really, really cool things being posted on the group. Group has grown really well, far and wide. Loads of people with different abilities as well. It's been super awesome to see. Me and Luke are really happy, as per the DIIG team as well. So this is going to be a bit of a celebration piece, just our normal intro, nothing more exciting than that, but I wanted to see it. I think it's pretty cool. Have a look at this. Well done, guys. As I said, what a great couple of months it's been, hey? Got a few finds up on screen to show you as well. This is just from the same introduction. Before I do that, I'm just going to take a quick look. Again, the chat's not working quite as well. Steve Ray says, dream finds. Dave Oliver says, my 10-day to the UK was a blast, highlighted with a Georgian rose gold brooch and a cut tilby. Very cool. And to identify a cut tilby, that's something else. For anyone who doesn't know, it's hard enough to identify them in the first place. Slow and low, don't rush, just chill, says Phil Price. Totally agree with that one. And Tracy Ann says, shout out to my fellow buddies from EMHH I've seen on here tonight. Hi, Mark, and hi, Charlie. Roy's here as well. Sarah Jane Fraser. I noticed a couple of you guys are putting the join bit in there. That is not working particularly well at the moment, so I think I'm going to have to scrub that one out. Let's have a look. Chat, winner draw. Let's scrub that one out. And let's get back onto some of these other finds. So on screen here, did you see the crotal bells at the beginning? I had so many. Yeah, that's a really great example. Dave Oliver's just sent me his half tilby. It's in great nick, actually. I'm going to share it with you. Look at that. And this is a wonderful piece as well. Newark Siege coin, Charles Royal. That'll be a hefty size as well. And plenty of other stuff as well. This one here from Emma. Yeah, I love a side-facing Henry coin. This is the one in the center here. Yeah, really great coin. Side portrait Henry for the win. Love it. And a really, really nice quarter as well, isn't that? I love that. Yeah, it's been stellar. And also, I mean, look at the quality of these class coins and similar. They're just amazing, aren't they? Yeah, very good. And we bring some other bits on as well. What do we have here? Yeah, amazing Bronze Age piece. Let's have a little look at this. People have been sending me stuff. Don't send me anything right now. That's Bry. We'll come to you in a minute, sir. You found some good stuff. But this is a very beautiful, beautiful Bronze Age arm ring. That'll be, I imagine, pretty heavy. Pretty big. So again, a lovely celebration piece there, and I really like that it's shown in the soil as well, and that's what it's all about with the group, you know. So I love that one. And another beautiful gold coin as well. Yet to find a gold coin myself. Anyway, yeah, so that's great. In fact, as we've got Bry here and he's watching attentively, let's go and have a look at what Bry's got to show us. So backstory goes like this. It's maybe a bit bigger. Backstory goes like this. So Bry finds this coin, significant piece as well. And I sent him a message and I'm like, can I interview you right now? And he had to go home. But I managed to catch him the next day, and unfortunately, we didn't manage to do the interview in quite the way I wanted to do it, so I had to come to the studio, as it were. But this is an interview with Bry, not to be missed. Lovely. Check this out.
Yeah, I'm lucky I'm alive, actually, because she chased me down the room.
Okay, right now we have Bry on the phone here, on the video here, and you found something very exciting. It's a half noble medieval coin from the high medieval period. Bry, tell us all about it. Well done, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've just got some new permission off my farmer.
Yeah.
So I thought what I'd be doing is 2 hours after my shift every morning, because I do a 12-hour shift, I'd come and give each field a try just to see if anything was on them. First 2 days, nothing. Yesterday, I came onto the field, aluminium,
Right.
all by outside aluminium. So I thought I'll just move out to the way slightly, and within 30 minutes, I'd found the coin.
Wow. Show us the coin. Do you have it?
Oh, I certainly do.
Oh, show it up nice and close. Wow, look at that. And a perfect flan as well. And the center is looking really good on that, isn't it?
Yeah,
What,
it's perfect. It was slightly bent, but I've managed to straighten it slightly. But I am sending it to get professionally done.
yeah.
It's
Got an idea of.
it's too nice a coin.
Yeah, it's a fantastic piece. Well done. Congratulations. And yeah, like you can straight it out a little bit, but I got an idea of the kind of person or the person that I think you'd be sending that away to. So, yeah,
Yeah,
great job, you. Fantastic. And you're using the DS2 to locate this, but what program were
yes.
you on?
I was actually using the Jethro program.
Really? Yeah, a very popular program used
Yeah,
throughout the UK and beyond.
yeah. I mean, I have only just started using the Deus, and I looked around at different programs. I've tried the basic ones and tried tweaking them slightly, but
Mm.
I do like this Jethro one.
Yeah. I like the way I mean, I know every machine is naturally very similar. Like, we all know that, really, let's
Yeah,
face it. But like the Deus 2 is quite quick in between the different targets. You're mentioning aluminium, and if I'd had aluminium, I'd be like, oh, maybe we'll just move to a different field entirely. But you didn't choose to do that. What were the ground conditions like?
To be fair, it needs rolling. It's ploughed,
Mm,
but once it's rolled, it'll be a little bit flatter, a little bit
yeah.
more compact. It's
Yeah.
still a little, but it's quite easy digging.
I guess it was a bit of a sleepless night for you. It was your wedding anniversary, is that right?
Yeah. I never went to bed. I mean, I went home. I only did 2 hours on the field yesterday morning, because, as I say, I'd just finished work and I'm a security dog handler. So my dogs were in the back of the car, and I wanted to get them home so they could go to sleep. So I took the dogs, put them away, and I couldn't sleep. I was just too excited. I was like
Yeah.
a kid.
So for disclosure, guys, the moment I saw this had come up, we got in touch and I said, are you gonna call it a day now? And you had left at that point, but I would have it'd be hard to tear myself away from that field. But again, what a fantastic piece. I just want to give you a quick bow. Hey, let's see that coin once again.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
You're a happy guy. I can see through that grin.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's just cost me probably between £1,000 and £1,500 out of pocket, because I've got to pay the farmer.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. It's for something I was going to touch on to how much it's worth as well. So, and it is a very good condition piece as well. So that might be that it could go considerably higher.
Yeah, I mean, I am getting it valued properly. I informed my farmer yesterday. He's over the moon. He couldn't believe it with
Yeah,
me just straight away, and it's
yeah.
been detected for years. There's
Has
loads of
it?
different. Yeah. It's been detected for a long time, and as usual, they tell me that you'll not get anything off it. It's been done to death.
Mm.
Then within 30 minutes, that pops out.
Wow, what a good one. I love that. Well, you enjoy your lunch break. Thank you so much for taking the time to let us know about your fantastic coin. Oh, what a day, what a day, what an anniversary, what a weekend for you,
Yeah,
Bry.
yeah. Absolutely perfect.
Wow. It was good, wasn't it? Worth the wait. What a wonderful, wonderful piece. And briefly, chat started to work, but it's gone away again. So, oh well. But either way, what a wonderful, wonderful coin. Thank you so much for sharing with the group, Bry. Bry, with his, I said high medieval. I believe the high medieval period sort of finishes at 1300. But either way, 14th century, whatever. Lovely coin. Wonderful flan. Beautiful piece, Geez, I mean, if that had a little hole through it or something like that, they might have called it a touch piece. It's so good. So thank you very much, Bry. Also, coming up on today's show, we've got an interview with William Plummer. He has just released this wonderful book in America. In fact, let's put our music back again. Yeah, William Plummer, otherwise known as Buckle Boy. Not to be confused with Button Boy, that's somebody else. Buckle Boy, of which there must be surely a few of them. I'm certainly a Buckle Boy. We're having a wonderful interview with him a little bit later on about a book which he's just released out in the States. It's been out for around about a month, I guess, at the absolute latest, at most. Again, a wonderful, wonderful book, and I've interviewed him. I think you guys really enjoy that. We've also got Luke Smith of the group, of course, co-founder and admin of the group. He's got a wonderful LiDAR class. I want to say master class, but I don't think I'm allowed to say stuff like that. But he's got a wonderful LiDAR video I'm itching to show you guys. So hope you will enjoy that as much as I did. I think having done that, though, I'll tell you what, I want to show you something. I'm just going to roll can I say a commercial? I don't know if I can. I'm just going to roll this. And when I come back, I want to show you something.
Detecting for geolocating your routes and referencing your finds. Available to all users, regardless of the detector brand. It provides exclusive features for XP detector owners. Connect your XP detector to Go to Rain. Display your targets in real time with their target ID. Visualize in real time the position, the track, and the finds of your colleagues. Share and enrich your terrain database over time. Benefit from all free maps and aerial cartographic backgrounds. Go to Rain, available worldwide. Download.
All right, okay. Now, the idea about the usual raffle thing that we do is that we were going to pick out a winner of one of these, but it doesn't always work to plan, so we'll have to figure out another way of doing that later on. But what we're going to do is going to put one of those in one of these, and we're going to have a go at sealing it. So hang on just a sec. Get that there. So just before I went live, I burnt myself something horrible. Look at that. Look at those two holes. That's with the wax. Right. I don't know how well this is going to go. Don't worry, it won't be long. I know what you're thinking. The quality wasn't there. But, so this is, I showed up to camera. If you can see that, let's bang a bit more light on it. Oh. This is a signet ring when it eventually comes into focus. There you are. Gone again. I'll have to be quick about this. Signet ring. There we go. And hopefully that worked. This isn't too weird, is it? Oh, that's good enough for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. A signet ring. Not sure if it's Roman or not, this particular one. Oh, let's make my camera bigger all of a sudden. Not sure if Roman. Definitely copper alloy. Goes on your little finger. Okay, well, hopefully you enjoyed that anyway. Now, of course, while we were at Detectival, we ran a competition as well. And the competition was, and is, well, was, because I've run it now, for the best find for Saturday at Detectival. So, massive rally. 1,000 people. Is it 1,000 or 2,000 people? I don't know. Massive rally anyway. And quite a few people put forward their finds. We've got 6 here. And this is Mark Hill, Harry Ablett, Roy Sarang, Rune Norman, Nick Rhodes, and Nicholas Nevin. And the prizes were, for the top 2, one of these finds pouches. Turn this light down. And this is from Emma UL. Emma, you can stick a link in chat if you want. I don't mind. Perfectly cool. One of those and one of these. So first one was a hammered silver coin, or, you know, a brooch that looks like one. And this is like a Saxon style disc brooch. Again, lovely piece. So claps in chat while we're doing that. Aggie Hall says old school. Yeah. Bit of a science class, Ags. And Teresa says Buckle Boy. Yeah, he's coming up in just a sec as well. Robert Murphy says hi. Well, it says hi to Teresa, but he's in my chat, so hi. Bobby Baker says, I'm going to the beer tent. Bye, Bobby. Very cool. Very cool. So the 2 winners we have from this, the most votes is number 4 and number 3. So we've got Rune Norman and Roy Sarang. So congratulations, guys. You have won yourself. You'll have to fight over which brooch you want. I'll reach out to you separately. But well done, guys. So claps in chat, hearts in chat, and all the rest of it. Well done, guys. That was fantastic. Okay, right. So just minimize this. Now I need to do a little bit of a housekeeping for a sec. So let me think here. That goes there. We need to make sure we get Buckle Boy on. Let's put you there. And oh.
Hey Chris, I want to give you the most efficient tip I can give you without being technical. So, do you use your arm strap? Because I see a lot of people have a slopey swing or get like this kind of swinging, like a smiley. And I can tell you, mate, even if you are exhausted and even if your detector is really heavy, or the lightest in the world, just use your arm strap. The question is why? Because it's glued to your arm and gives you much more control. It feels really, really light because nothing is wiggled around. And the best part about it is you don't need to grip the handle like a gorilla. So you can just guide the detector, you can open your hands, and you can just swing a day long. So, are you using your arm strap, mate?
Yeah, I hope you guys love that. There's Stefan with Stefan's tip. Thank you very much. Stefan's back. Woo! Right. Okay, guys. So what have we got here? So next is going to be William Plummer. And then we've got Luke's LiDAR class, which is not to be missed as well. So I hope you guys are having good fun here. I'm certainly having a blast, if you hadn't already told. And off we go with our interview with William. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And William's a top guy as well. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us on DIIG Live. I wanted to start off just on the get-go is just understanding a little bit about you as a person. So you're a detectorist, your wife is a detectorist too. How long have you been doing this? And what was really that point where you thought, you know what, I'm going to share my thoughts with the world? What happened?
Well, it was a gradual process. I mean, when I was a kid, I got a metal detector for Christmas, like way back in 1986.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah. And then I got my future wife at the time. We were dating at the time. I got her involved in the hobby, and she fell in love with the hobby too. As I put it recently, she has the bug, but I have the disease. So that means that I am always absolutely addicted to the hobby, and she just goes when she can. But she really enjoys it, and we enjoy getting out together. I'd written some articles for various magazines in the U.S. For some years, starting in about 2008 or 2009. And then I gradually started thinking, you know, well, the UK has this great series of books, finds identified, and we don't have anything like that over here in the States. So I thought, you know, wouldn't it be great if we had something for North American relics, you know, just from the time periods that we have here. And we could delve into things like 19th century relics, which, you know, aside from American Civil War relics and buttons and things like that, nobody's ever thought to do.
Oh, we all here? Someone just tripped over the internet cable. Hang on. Okay, we are back. It's buffering. Stalled. Whew. In the entertainment industry, they don't say someone's tripped over the internet cable, but someone tripped over it. Okay, let's go back with William. Let's try and forget about all that. Boy, oh boy. Right, back with William. I'll try and find my spot again.
I'd written some articles for various magazines in the U.S. For some years, starting in about 2008 or 2009. And then I gradually started thinking, you know, well, the UK has this great series of books, finds identified, and we don't have anything like that over here in the States. So I thought, you know, wouldn't it be great if we had something for North American relics, you know, just from the time periods that we have here. And we could delve into things like 19th century relics, which, you know, aside from American Civil War relics and buttons and things like that, nobody's ever thought to do.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. It weaves quite well with over in the UK. We've got the Finds Identified series, which is produced by people responsible for the Portable Antiquities Scheme. That book is a little bit like showing you the masterpiece example or the best case example of that specific object. from the Vikings in Newfoundland to sort of Spanish colonial relics in the Southwest, America's history is very diverse, isn't it? How does your book weave together those regional stories? And do you have specific pages dedicated to each topic, or is it more sort of a regional hash? What have we got in that?
Yeah, so this book is really through the lens of Louisiana, which itself is its own kind of microcosm of some of the melting pot that we have here of cultures and empires in the past.
Mm,
And so we had a lot of, the New Orleans itself was essentially, I think I wrote in the book, a Caribbean city in the way it looked, but wore the colonial trappings of empires of Spain and France throughout its history. And then, of course, once we had the influx of northern planter economy from buying out all of the land here and changing various regulations with regards to persons of color. We saw a big change here in Louisiana in the early to mid 1800s. So the book would essentially then function as a relic identification guide.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a relic Bible, if I could use that terminology, where you're showing an example find of that particular thing, be it a particular type of buckle, or maybe you've got a particular early issue or rarity coin, that kind of thing. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly right. A lot of the photos I chose to show as multiple examples, and the goal was, because I mean, furniture fittings alone would be a multi-volume set, right? Just from 1700 to the 20th
Mm,
century. So the hope here is that if you show various types in one handful, then you can show the various varieties of the various types of buckles and clothing clasps and things like that, so that people, readers will get a sense of what they might find. And
okay.
then, it's sort of like a jumping off point. Then they can do more research or know what they have in a general sense, and then they might be able to identify it more specifically later.
So metal detectorists, professional archaeologists, collectors, the wider public. It sounds to me like one of the appeals of your book is the close-up photography. Have you taken the same visual approach as more of like an academic study? Can you see the finer details when you look closely at these the artifacts?
Yeah, in all of my photos are really high quality photos, so it is possible to see a lot of the fine details. One thing I didn't do that was on the academic side, and I fought with this a little bit in the book, because you think, how academic is it going to be? How more user friendly or readable is it going to be? And I chose a couple of paths. One of the paths that I chose was to put all of the terms that were easily identifiable online in italics through the book. So in that regard, it kind of feels a little bit like a textbook, because any reader can go and learn more that way. The second way is that because there's so many photos, a reader can just go through and decide, well, maybe I don't want to read all of that text, and I just want to look at the photos and identify my finds. Well, the captions, some of the captions are pretty lengthy. They're like half-page captions on some of the photos, which really give additional information about the specific finds there, whereas the text itself might offer more general statements about time periods and histories of specific items and types. So the book can kind of function on multiple levels. If someone wants to see it as a visually stunning book, like a coffee table book, they can have it there and thumb through and look at the pictures. If they'd like to take a more academic approach and read all of the text there, then that's there for them.
And you can hop off if you wanted to go and expand knowledge further.
Exactly,
Yes.
and there's bibliography is in there too. So it feels it's a little sprinkling of textbook in some ways, but I chose, instead of putting a ruler, a scale down and doing more of a professional or archaeological style of photos, I chose to just have photos in my hands with various backgrounds, or on old wood or brick or things like that kind of show a rustic sort of a
More,
vibe with
yeah,
those
more
instead of,
more
yeah,
tangible, like relatable,
yeah,
you know, that kind
yeah,
of thing. Yeah, I totally get it. I really understand. So when you have an object, it's like the presentation of that object in its context is
yeah,
as interesting sometimes, not always, but sometimes quite interesting. You could have like, let's just take it like a North American approach for a second. You can have an old wooden shack with the ironwork, hand wrought, and all the rest of it, and you have your find with that as a backdrop. You know, I can instantly go, okay, that buckle relates to someone who sat down there one day and did that thing, you
yeah.
know? I got a question actually, and it's just to wheel back a bit to the Louisiana bit, former French colony, of course,
Hmm.
that they sold to the British, I understand. Or was it the
Yeah,
Americans?
and the Spanish, it went back and forth between the French and Spain a few times there.
Well, typically that. So that's a leading point. Thank you. You helped me out with my question actually, because when I was starting out looking at YouTubers, I was a little bit of a late entrant to that. But when I was looking at YouTubers who did metal detecting and stuff like that, I was more interested initially, at least, into the very end of like what I'd call the big American conventions. I'm talking the massive like shacks or barns with people with tables sending out a little bit like a gun convention, but you know, you lay
Yeah.
out all your finds and you get all those box plates and you're like, oh geez, I haven't seen one like that before, you know, that kind of thing. Those kind of conversations really, really intrigued me. So my question, William, is beyond cataloging this amazing artifacts, what new insights into American history do you think emerged from doing something like this? And is there any specific discoveries that you've made personally or an immediate friend has made that has really surprised you, say, in Louisiana?
Well, a couple of things. First off, appreciating these civilian relics, these humble things, and identifying them accurately. You know, no relic is completely tells its story unless it's identified correctly. It's just going to sit there and languish in the junk bin, or even worse, the trash can.
Yeah.
And so I think that a book like this is overdue. Now, with regard to insights that I've had, there are a lot of great insights there at the very end of the chapter. And I was careful with my editors to say, you know, I don't want this book to be about all of the seldom found amazing treasure finds that one could make, because there's a lot of books like that, and I'm not knocking those books, but what sets this apart is that these are things that mere mortals are going to dig every day, because everyone used these types of items in the past. And so I did put a little section at the end of the book with about a dozen finds where I go into those specific histories of some of the more glorious finds that I've had over the years, and the specific stories, amazing stories that those tell. But they're just greater versions of the stories that appear throughout the book that those individual, more humble relics can say.
Yeah. Very interesting. So what I'm getting from that is that you're giving the reader an insight into civilian colonial history and before, and to an extent after, through the lens of William, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Europe, and that's actually, again, it creates that very human perspective, and it adds to the drama, if you like, already of yeah, recording civilian objects, you know, the buckles, the plates, the knives, the forks, the general coinage that would have been used. Coinage, of course, changed over time. You got, you know, Spanish reals and other French and et cetera, barter economies, you know, that, you know, things like that. I'm hearing from you today that rather than a one-off celebration, this is going to be part of something that will be embryonic over time, but it will take a long time. It's taken you 4 years, I believe you said, to get to the point of now. You know, it's going to take a lot of time for you to collate the next volume. Everyone, this is Relics, a guide to identification by William, otherwise known as Buckle Boy LA. What a wonderful, wonderful guest we have on our show. I really, really appreciate it. As per the cap you're wearing, keep digging.
yeah.
Thanks, William.
Thank you.
Oh, wasn't that nice? Just a real feel good kind of video, wasn't it? Yeah, really cool. And it's absolutely the case as well that when you're photographing something that you found, you know, putting that or that photograph taken when the object is in your hand can just, I don't know, it's something that a piece of paper can't convey, you know, and to extend on that, if you have, say, like some trees in the background, or you have the old barn door or whatever, you know, it just adds to that, you know, context, and it just helps tell that story, and that's what all this is all about at the end of the day. Talk of the end of the day, I wonder if this is actually going to show. It might not, so sorry if it doesn't. This is Jim showing us his gold dance. I don't think it's going to work. The dance works. Oh, but what a coin. Oh, I'm not surprised you are happy. I've missed a lot, haven't I, on the group? Sorry that wasn't coming through the audio, but you know, as you know from the last few moments, we had a strange thing happen. Literally, the cable came out. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Now, our final piece, because we can't do any of the raffles and all the rest of it. You know, I love the raffles. Everyone knows I love the raffles, but you know, it's not everything. Our last bit before we sign off with a video that we're really proud of here at DIIG. But before that, another thing we're very proud of is all the work that Luke does for the group. So I want you to, you don't have to clap your hands together because you're on your own in your room, in your sitting room. But it's a great thanks to Luke. Luke's bang the Unearthers link in. Hope you guys enjoy. This is all about reading fields, all right? And if you want to try and not waste time when you're going out detecting, look at this stuff.
Hi guys, some of you will know me as a founding member of this DIIG group, but one of the things you may not know about me is I am passionate about GIS, and that includes things like LiDAR, NDVI and imaging techniques to help research the ground that we detect on. And as part of that, I just want to go through some of the things you can do at home for free that is going to really help improve your research. So let's get into it. So what is LiDAR? Well, LiDAR is essentially scanning of a surface with lasers. It's like taking a photograph but pinging lots of lasers off the surface to create a 3D model rather than a 2D model. And because of that, that's why sources like NLS and LiDAR Finder aren't the best. They're good, they will happily get you part of the way there, but not all of the way. And I can demonstrate that. So this is a composite hillshade, and when we're talking about LiDAR and everyone talks about LiDAR in this community, they're talking essentially what's called a hillshade, and that's where there's a light source lighting a scene across and creating an image like this. But because it's technically a 3D model, we are always bound to somebody else's interpretation of what the scene should be, and that can catch you out. So for example, this is just a random DM of an area in Devon that I downloaded. I've never looked at it before. I'd had a quick scan across the map just to see what I could see and some examples I could pull out. So you'll see here on the map, there's a nice oval shape. And if I caught that and a white area around it, I might think, that looks like a bulb arrow potentially, or a collapsed bulb arrow, something like that. I'd want to look into that further. But with a LiDAR example you might check online, you wouldn't be able to do anything more with it. But that data that they use to create that image is available to us, and we can use some open source software like this, like QGIS, it's completely free, to interpret that data differently. So if I turn that off, you'll see we've got this LiDAR data. Now when you get it, it will look something like this. But what we can do is we can change, one, the altitude of the lighting source, i.e. the sun, and two, the angle at which it casts across a scene, because it is a 3D image. And also we can change something called the Z factor. Now, use this sparingly, because you can start seeing artifacts that aren't actually there. But if I turn up the Z factor a little bit, we're looking at the same area, and I'll switch on the original where it looks like there could have been a feature. I'll switch it off again, and you can see it's actually part of a ridgeline where it drops off. There's nothing there. It's an optical illusion. And being able to just adjust that makes all the difference. And LiDAR, Hillshade is great for identifying things like old field boundaries, earthworks, and stuff like that. But there are other tools using the same data set that will really, really help you. One of those is called a slope shade instead of a hill shade. So instead of lighting the scene from an angle, a slope shade shades the scene according to, is it sloped or is it flat, and everything in between. So this is a slope shade, how it would look when you load it into the software, and we need to drop down the maximum. What this maximum is the degrees of the slope. And typically with ploughing and allowing stuff, it's usually around 6 degrees or less would be an area where you may see some kind of historic building. So if we change that to 6, we can now see we've got these big areas of white. That implies that they have a bigger slope than 6 degrees, and we've got these areas of black. And you can see, as I was saying, that's the ridgeline running across there, and that's a flatter area. So coming away from that, I did mark a couple of things on the map just to explain what we might be looking at. You can see at a glance areas where there's more likely to be some kind of settlement, because they're a place where they're more likely to be built because it's flat. So it's a quick way to almost filter on what data you have. And so this was a little area I picked on earlier. Like I said, I don't know anything about it, but when I zoomed in, I could see there was just a little line, horizontal line across here, which makes it interesting. Now, if I look at our LiDAR, it's nothing particularly obvious when we look at the hill shade. A couple of marks, but I wouldn't necessarily catch it immediately. Even with changing the angle or changing the Z factor, it's not quite obvious to me. But popping that slope back on, we can change that maximum value. So the lower we go, basically the flatter it is. And as I do that, you can see that more and more features start to pop out in this particular area, flattened ground. We've got a boundary here. That might be somewhere that I want to go and check out, because potentially there is some kind of archaeological site there. That is just one clear example of where slope is really handy. And you can see it shows up all the houses here. You can see those house areas, those flat building areas. It will show you things like the flood plain from a river. That's going to be pretty obvious to see. And you'll see things that you didn't see before, like there. That could be a barrow or perhaps a pond. I'd have to look into that further. And it's just a really great tool for quickly being able to skim across and find features. If I reset that to about 7 for a second, this is another example, and this is quite common. Something that's probably there. If I pop the original hill shade on, you can just about make out that could be something around here. Not sure what this is. We can turn on the Google Earth a minute. So it could be a quarry in a woods, and then we've got some fields there. But looking at the LiDAR, potentially is something, but again, we can't explore that further with limited online LiDAR. So switching that off, we'll go back into the DM and we can change that angle. And as I do, it becomes really clear to me that we're looking at a perfect circle round feature. This is likely going to be a large enclosure or hill fort, I would have said. Looking at it is the likely thing. So again, something that I'd want to look into further. And it's not just these kind of things we can do with QGIS and freely available data. We can then improve our own process and add things like, I might want to add a flood map so I can see what areas are likely to flood, and that's going to give me an idea of where there's water sources as well. I might want to look at old tide maps, so I can add those on, and I can not only can I have them as sort of normal overlaid maps like this, I can then layer them on top of my data to give me an idea of perhaps if I'm looking at field boundaries or something like that, if I suspect that the LiDAR is showing me a field boundary, I can cross-reference that against a tide map. I could change that to the 6-inch OS 6-inch from about 1900. I can add contours, I can add 1946 aerial, and so on. Basically, the amount of data you can bring is endless. And what's more, you could mark things on a map, you could export it to a KML file or a GPX file and import it into your phone. So when you're out in the field, you can see exactly where you want to be on a map to sample an area. I hope you found that interesting. A lot of my videos are out there on YouTube. I'm sure Chris will drop a link in so you guys can have a look if you're interested in finding out more. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.
Well, thank you very much, Luke, for that. That was really, really good. So thank you, sir. Guys, hope you've enjoyed this show. Sorry about the little niggle earlier on. I do apologize about that. Just remove that for a sec. Yeah. Thank you very much. It was really, really good seeing the LiDAR and landscape analysis. You know, landscape archaeology is such an important part of understanding settlements dating back hundreds and thousands of years, but also, you know, good cartography, good map analysis will help you find those good spots. So say you're in, and I do completely recognize that in America, you know, during the American Civil War, an awful lot of precious maps were destroyed. Yeah, with that said, some do still exist, or the names of creeks or river systems, you know, can give a really good picture of what would have happened in there long ago. So thank you once again to Luke. Okay, guys, believe we're done. Yeah, so we're just going to end on a video that we've done before, a couple of months ago. This is all about the other side of detecting, which is about helping others directly. So not yourself or not academia or museums. It's just about helping someone who's lost something that's gone in the ground or gone in the beach or whatever. Enjoy this. Thank you very much for joining us. Please put a comment if you've enjoyed the show. It helps promote it for next time. And I hope you have a great evening. This is all about ring recovery.
Why have I done a ring recovery?
Why do we do it? Why do we help people when they've lost items?
There's nothing better than returning a lost piece of jewelry.
It is better to give than to receive.
We do it because we can.
I think in this hobby it's better to give back more than you take.
A lady fell over on the beach and lost her late husband's wedding ring.
Helped a lady out who'd lost a necklace on a beach.
I had an opportunity to find a ring for my wife's cousin's daughter.
On the necklace was her wedding ring, a pendant, and her late mother's white gold wedding ring.
So it was precious knowing that I was able to return an heirloom that meant a lot to this young bride who only got married 5 years ago.
After she pointed out where she fell, I found it for her.
And I found it, and the look on her face said it all. Absolutely buzzing.
She was well happy.
Each signal is a little treasure.
Sometimes it's a ring, sometimes it's a freaking pull tab.
There's nothing like the emotion of handing something back to somebody that when they've lost it.
You're not just finding a relic, but often you're returning a memory.
It's really something to treasure.
Keeping the Outer Banks beaches clean.